Okay, we're recording. So this is the Finance Committee meeting on 8/17/2020. We have Mayor Hughes, Councilman Ruger, Fiscal Officer Leah Klein, and Consultant Kim Pulley, and Councilman McNamara. So that is our full committee and finance group. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Kim, do you want to go ahead and plow ahead, or Leah, whoever is going to review the financial report for July?
Yeah, let me get it pulled up real quick.
Okay.
And Diane, while she's doing that, just as and Leah, you're more than welcome to chime in, but I don't know if we've resolved the computer issue, but apparently we have some computer issues going on right now. I don't know what the outcome is going to end up being, but I know we were trying to work with the computer because when the computer shuts off, Kim can't work remotely. And unfortunately, the computer continues to shut off, and that's caused us some issues. We can't keep it logged in. So I don't know that that's been resolved, but if it's not, we're going to have to do something to resolve it, because that was the issue. That is the issue. And I don't know that we really made that clear as to what the problem was. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing issue. Do we have?
So you're working with the tech support, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-phase thing. So this computer is actually provided by UAN. And we may be, I thought they were on a 3-year cycle. And if they're on a 3-year cycle, we're due for an update for it, or an upgrade. But we have not heard for sure whether or not that's the case. So we obviously wanted to go that route first because for free. But if not, then we have to explore it with tech and see what we're going to do.
Well, it should be, I mean, for tech support, it should be, I'm puzzled that it wouldn't be very simple setup.
Yeah, everything is set to never shut down, but it does. I shared my screen. Can you all see it?
Well, so if that's a computer, is that the computer you're getting into that cloud-based software with?
UAN is actually not cloud-based. It's local installed on this one, but we're VPN into this computer.
Yeah, no, I know you're a VPN in, but so yeah, there's no one else controlling that computer except you all. Okay. Well, it doesn't it seems like it would be a cheap fix for tech support, but okay.
Yeah.
So here we have it.
Okay. So can you see the report now?
Yeah, I can. Everybody?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, this is cash summary. Biggest thing to note on here is we did, once we got approval for that transfer, we made that transfer. So down here in the storm sewer fund, you can see we've now got a $730,000 balance ready to do those projects. And the water and sewer lines are less flush, let's say, than they had been previously, but they're still pretty healthy. So those transfers have been completed. This new fund here, you can see where we got our CARES money from Franklin County.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I only have half of this report up. So in the size it is, if you could like pause your cursor so we could, I can make sure I'm on the right row.
This 66,000 here.
66,000. Okay.
That's the money from Franklin County and the CARES Act.
Okay.
Which, do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to?
Well, I don't mind being flexible about it. Whatever. If we want to stop and talk, as long as we don't forget anything.
I can chime in on that. So today, as you guys are probably aware, I sent a message. Well, I sent everybody the information for the Atlas Butler quote. And if you guys read through it, it does talk about air quality, most of those types of things in the quote. The hope is that we would be able to get this taken care of out of the CARES Act. As people are aware, one of the concerns coming back into the community building was the quantity of airflow inside the building. This would significantly change that, adjust that. There would be air purifiers. There would be a couple different things. So, in our minds, we think it's a great avenue to use the funds. Is it going to, is there the chance that Franklin County would come back and say, not happening? Yeah, there's always that chance, but we have that chance with anything that we use the money for. Unfortunately, they did not send a big, long, this is what you can use it for, this is not what you can use it for. So, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was kind of what Jesse and Jean had come back and said, that, yes, of course, we can use the money for this. Just know that in the event that they do deny it, that's something that we would then be responsible for, clearly. So basically, Jesse and Jean's response back to me was, in the grand scheme of things, we hope that we would be able to use it for that. We all think it's great, except just know that we would want Kim's blessing and Leah's blessing before we did move forward, just for the simple fact, in the 50-50 chance, 25% chance, whatever, that we have the funds available to do that. So it's just, and we would want council to fully understand that. Every single council person, we would want to make sure that we are using this based on the fact that we believe we can use it for that. In the event we can't, we're going to be stuck with the bill. And it's the same thing with the cleaning right now. We have no reason to believe, because cleaning is one of the #1 things. I mean, I guess if they sent out this money for people to use, but yet tell us that we can't use it for anything, that would defeat the purpose. So we do believe that that the money was sent out to us to be able to do the things to get people back into the building, not just hand sanitizer. So that's left up to you guys now. We got the pricing, we got exactly what we asked them for. Yes, I called several different companies. They were really the only ones that, again, just kind of came back with exactly what we needed done, what we wanted done, other than just replacing a unit. That's not what we were looking for. We aren't just looking to replace the HVAC unit. We're looking for everything surrounding it.
Yeah, Tiffany, I think any more delving in should be done in the work session.
Totally fine.
Because this is finance. We're just talking about how much it costs and where's it coming out of, and that sort of thing.
So we would want to get Kim's blessing and Leah's blessing in the finance. And if we're told no, we wouldn't even want to go any further into it, because I don't know that anybody on council would want to take that risk if we couldn't afford it otherwise.
Well, I guess the point is, and again, I think this should be just a full council discussion in terms of spending the money on this or not. But I guess for finance purposes, Kim and Leah, we're just looking at, I mean, obviously this entire amount is at risk if we spend it in the wrong way. Because we're waiting till the end of the year to send our bills to Franklin, is it CARES group? Is that right?
Yeah, it flows through Franklin County. I believe we do have to report to them at the end of the year what we're spending on. If for some reason they come back and say, no, you can't do that, I do think we have enough that we can cover that, especially by something I'm going to share with you here in a minute. That's some good news for once. So if you want to sit on that for a few minutes and we can come back to it.
Perfect.
Okay, all right.
Quick question on that money. Did they give us that money and we have it, or did they say you can spend this much and we'll reimburse it?
We have it. That's the 66,000 here.
But it's my understanding if we don't use it, we send it back.
Exactly.
That's always what happens.
Yes.
Well, in that case, we may as well use it and get the ventilation system fixed. I mean, it's going to be a while till the new building or whatever is decided on, so may as well have a functional place to be.
Yeah, and that's a statement we're going to have to remake in our work session. That's why I was just trying to hold off on that.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's see. Anything else? Here, no. Okay, so what I was going to share here, we are sitting right now after we've received both August payments from Rita, which include the July extended tax day. things. So we got in August about $267,000. So we're sitting at $967,000. To compare, as of August 31st, 2019, we were at 884. So we're running $75,000 to $100,000 ahead of last year now. So most of our deficit was because of the delayed tax day. So not only are we caught up, but now we're running ahead. So that is great news.
Yeah, that is great news. Yeah.
I don't know that we'll stay that way throughout the end of the year because what we'll see between now and the end of the year is people making estimated payments for next year and withholdings. If those things are suffering, now we'll actually see where our issue is. If we come in a little less, so we still might break even from last year, we just won't be as much ahead. So I was very, very happy to see that this morning.
What a difference a month makes.
Excellent.
Yes, so very exciting news. So that's why I think even if we spent that money and we were told that we couldn't use it for that, I think we'd be fine. Now that I know where we are with the income tax.
Okay.
Check out this pool number, guys. Oops. We
Oh, there's more.
anticipated 52,000. We're sitting at 67,000 in pool revenue through the end of July. There's still this doesn't have anything from August in it yet. So this is literally the best pool season that we've had in, I would say, at least 7 years that I've gone back on. And it's not over yet. So if we can be the only pool open for like every season, that'd be awesome.
That was a risk worth taking.
Well, you know
Absolutely.
why. Yeah, we don't want to go there because that's, we're the only pool, we're the only game in town, and no.
Yeah, nobody's questioning that, but it was a decision that we made, and knowing that, and it worked out.
Bravo that, and I was opposed, and I still would have been happy with it shut down, but I'm glad it's taking care of itself and it's holding its own, and we haven't infected a bunch of people apparently. So all ends up being good on that. I guess it's maybe one of the reasons, maybe because it's more manageable because it's one small pool versus the municipalities who have so much more to have to manage if they had stayed open. So I don't know. Are we going to be able to track this year? Usually we have a little trouble tracking residents versus non-resident participation in the pool.
For sure.
We have quite a bit of information, I feel like. I mean, number one, we ended up with almost 150 pool memberships. So we'll be able to see exactly where those are, how many were residents, how many were not. I do have a list of everybody that's actually been to the pool. I don't know how much information that we do end up with all of them. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you there's a fair share that are not residents, but the thing that we have going forward is we were one of the only pools in town. So you'll probably, be able to keep some of those people. Some of those people never even knew we existed before. So you're not going to keep all of them. But having our pool open, I foresee next year being a very good year as well, because we were one of the ones that saved some people's summers, and they'll remember that.
Okay.
Let's see. Just scrolling through real quick here. Nothing else has been out of the ordinary or unexpected. But if anybody has any questions on anything for the report, then I'm happy to answer that. But everything is progressing pretty much how we thought it would. And in some cases, like with the income tax, a little better than we had expected it to now. So that's great.
I noticed there was some, I don't remember where in the report, but there was some tap fees. Are those the final tap fees?
Those are the last from the houses that were built in 2020.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which those should be done now. This coming month, we should be getting, probably actually within the next week or two, should be getting our second. Oh no, Franklin County delayed, didn't they? They delayed their tax collection, right?
Franklin County, we paid our property taxes was July 3rd, or I'm sorry, August 8th, I think, was when those were actually due.
Okay, so we actually won't see that until probably October, our second half settlement. So normally that happens in August, but with the delay, I would guess early October before we see it, which thankfully for us, that's not, since we're primarily income tax funded, not property tax funded. That won't hurt us cash flow wise. So as long as we get it this year, we'll be fine.
So that MP improvement tax,
This
is that the property tax?
it's the TIF fund.
That is the tip. Okay.
So it is property tax, but it's the MI portion.
Okay. That's not what I'm looking for then. Keep going.
Which, do you want to see the property taxes?
Nope.
Well,
I'm looking for something else. We're just not there yet.
And our in terms of the, where did the Parks and Recreation funding for the MI section?
That is actually right here. This is only the year-to-date amount. The balance in that fund, is 122,800,
22,800.
and it should be done collecting. That should be, which is not going to go any higher.
Okay.
Is there, I'm remembering a Minerva Lake Road, a fund that we could only use the money for Minerva Lake Road
Yes, that
for
is
street repairs-ish.
this 90,000 here. That's with the Franklin County engineer.
Okay, so and you may not know the answer to this, but could that money be used for widening the road, just paving the road? No, that's a random question.
Believe that it could. That is something we want to talk to the engineer about.
Okay,
That how that works is we pay it and then submit to them for reimbursement. But that's something we absolutely would want their blessing on before we.
okay.
I think from our past discussions that is true, as long as it has to do with the street going through and only being streets, not bushes and
Sidewalks.
miscellaneous, yeah.
Yeah.
It has
And
to be a
I'd be
street.
curious, if that could include safety upgrades. I know in the safety committee, we're talking about maybe getting some of those stationary, small speed limits 25 and this how fast, I mean, because they make them like this big just on a little signpost, solar powered, but they cost like thousands and thousands.
Is there
Yeah.
somebody specific that we would need to reach out to?
It's the county engineer.
Just the county engineer?
The other option, if we can't use it for those safety upgrades, the street construction fund up here, this 280. The only thing that's planned to be spent out of it right now was when we did the, if we do the, or if or when we do the Cleveland Avenue Maplewood intersection, which should still leave money in there.
Right.
So we can, those definitely can be purchased out of that fund.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think there's anything else that's been out of the ordinary for the financials so far. So do we have any other? This does need cleaned up. I have not had a chance to completely go through it yet. There's still some things from that need reclassified from Janetta. And I have not posted what was just approved last week yet, the new appropriations. You'll probably see another appropriation ordinance. I don't guarantee by next week, but definitely the one after that, just for a couple other little minor go forward with the payroll. It's just going to be some reclasses mostly.
Yeah, so for the, since you said door payroll, in terms of the financial, where that would come from, what account that would come out of, is this something where council would need to, would a resolution need to be passed for that, or can money just be moved? So
Yeah,
in this
like,
case, it would have to be a
Right
resolution.
now it's in salaries, and we need it to be in contractual services, so that's a council approval.
So you have extra in salary?
Not in finance, but in, we did not end up hiring that other administrative assistant back in March. So we had budgeted for that, but we hadn't done it. So that's where that money's gonna be coming from.
I see.
It's actually gonna be coming out of police or mayor admin. It's not gonna be coming out of finance.
Okay.
The other thing for council's approval is, it's not a contract, but it's an agreement. So we would want to get council's approval for that as well, to actually be able to sign the agreement. So not just the money transfer.
Right. Okay. So we've talked about expenditure, possible expenditure for the payroll software and for the HVAC. Was there a third thing?
You mentioned the pool, I think, the baby pool,
Baby pool? Mhm.
which that, as far as I'm aware, only engineering's been paid on so far, that MSK or MSKS, whatever that is.
Yeah. And right now that's just sitting where it's been sitting. We're waiting for the final drawings to be sent to ODNR.
Is this one where we have to bill and be reimbursed the 75,000?
Yeah,
Or do we have it already?
no, I think we bill it.
I'm not positive if we pay it and they reimburse us, or if we pay our share and they pay their share together.
Ah. Okay. So that's the baby pool. Okay. And as far as the, nothing's changed in the Lakes account?
What's currently available in the Lakes account if we were to do anything this year?
Can you see the forecast spreadsheet, or do you still see the report?
I see actual and planned.
Perfect. Okay. I'm never sure when I'm screen sharing and what I'm actually sharing. So let me hold on a second, make this bigger so you can see it better. Currently for the lakes, we have, let me go over this one. I'm gonna have to make that bigger too. Okay, 2020. There is 25,000 budgeted for engineering currently. And then we had talked about there being, if we end up going forward with a project for the lakes, there's 25,000 for the construction of it already budgeted, and the remainder was going to be like a short-term note issue of some sort, a debt issue. But as of right now, the 25,000 in engineering, I don't think any of that's been touched. It's all still in existence.
I just know it's part of the next conversation after this meeting.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch on asking about that, actually.
I thought that's what it was, but I just wanted to be certain.
Yeah,
No, none of it's been, this 25,000 here, if you can see this, is all still available.
Yeah.
yeah, that's like peanuts, right? So,
For the engineering, that should be close for the engineering. It's the construction that's going to be obviously more than that.
yeah. Okay. And you scrolled by tree removal. How much is left for tree removal this winter?
14,825.
May I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Beautiful. So maybe this is just, my unfamiliarity with municipal budgets, which is not a secret. But we seem to have so many things divided up, like maintenance for the lakes, tree removal, engineering, aqueduct. Why, if someone smarter than me can explain this, what is the cause for all these divisions? Like how did it get to be that instead of like a large like general lakes fund?
The person that was previous to me is the one that set these up that way. This,
Okay.
though, is something that we can move money within without council approval. So if council decides, hey, we figure we're not going to spend 14,000 on trees, we're only going to spend 4,000, and we have the other 10,000, we can move that 10,000 up into engineering, and we can do that without having to go through council for that. So technically, anything in this 490 section that starts with a 3 is a big pot. Right now, it's just allocated between these things.
Okay, that makes sense. I just wanted to, I guess, figure out why everything seemed so divided and complicated when it all is, going for the same effect.
Right, and most
In a
other departments are not that way. This one just happens to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's probably just a controversy of if you only have a pot, then who gets it first? And I think it was just
It also
probably
makes it easy to look
political.
at, say, how much did we spend on tree removal in the last 5 years? It's pretty easy to just pull that account and see.
Yeah, and that's something we do a lot. The stuff here is stuff we do a lot. That's the only other thing I'll say is that this Aqueduct has been the service provider for that, and the tree removal has been around for a while. Leaf pickup. So I think it's just a easy, as Kim says, easier comparison on that.
So when we pick the leaf pickup person, do we just need to tell you? Because I can already tell you that the amount is too low. All of our bids are well over 22 because of the new development. So is that something that you guys are just going to be able to, you just said you could move those to where they need to be from whichever one. We already know that the minimal bid, it's going to be between 28 and 29. It appears.
We will have 6,000 or 7,000 left in tree removal. If you don't think we'll need all that, we can
Okay.
without any trouble.
Okay.
Otherwise, we might need an appropriation. It's up to whatever you guys think as far as the trees and.
Okay. So we just got to remember that, guys, because we already know that that's not going to work, and they have not told. I've not awarded anybody the leaf pickup because I've not been instructed by anybody to approve one or the other yet. I've heard from 2 people, and they both have a different opinion. So.
So there's been no street committee?
No.
Okay,
Just via email.
all right.
Correct.
So we won't be able to.
I have had residents living near me very interested that we get a leaf contract approved and publicized. So
Yep.
that's definitely something for us to keep working on.
We've done the first reading, but I'm hopeful that we will have something situated before the second reading,
Beautiful.
which is Monday. So that means somebody's got to figure it out ASAP.
Well, let's hammer it out tonight too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Any other? I think those are the main things that we're going to be talking about tonight. So we know that where we are financially with each one of those things, which is great. Is there any other thing where the Kim, that particularly went out of or wackadoodle as far as the expenditures being over 100%, way over 100%?
There have not been, but I did want to bring up, if you don't mind, kind of how the rest of the year goes, especially for Mark and David, since you guys haven't been through the process before, the budgeting process for next year.
Okay.
Typically what we do is early to mid-September, we send out an email or have a conversation with like the police chief and with code enforcement and with every department to see what they kind of have anticipated needs for next year. We have those conversations in, like I said, mid-September, so that hopefully by the beginning of October, we kind of have a preliminary 2021 budget. And then once we have that, it works its way through finance committee. We usually have a meeting, let's say mid-October, to kind of hammer it through finance committee first. And then it starts going before council. We have to have it approved. I think the second meeting in December is like the 18th, 17th, sometime in that frame. That's the point we need the 2021 budget final approved. So to get the 3 readings in, we have to start reading it by the second meeting in November. And we like to have it by the first meeting in November so that it hits 2 work sessions. That way we have the November work session and the December work session to talk about it if we need to. So it's a kind of a lengthy process, but it comes through. It starts with the department heads, it works its way through administratively with finance and the mayor, and then it comes to finance committee, and then it works its way into council. So that's kind of how the process works. But it's going to be starting to pick up in the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to give everybody a heads up on that so that you, if anybody asks, that you have that in your head.
You are appreciated.
Well, thanks. So if anybody has anything that they really want to focus on for next year that's not already on the radar, let me know that, or let Leah know that, so that we can start working on that.
Yeah, the finance committee wants to work on the maintenance, in-source, outsource.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to start gathering information, maybe, I don't know the best way to do that, look at old invoices or ask specific questions. I mean, we can do some of the research, in terms of, what did we pay for before? What did we do ourselves and what do we outsource? Random things, not just how much is our equipment worth? Get some pricing on what if we, if we were going to do all this, how much additional equipment would we need? What's the estimated cost? So we wanted to work on that, but I would think we would need your help to just do comparisons on actual and historical.
I'm not sure if we contracted out before. The only thing I can think of that we didn't do much of in-house was things like HVAC repairs, some electrical repairs, but all the mowing and all the, let's say, handy type things, that was all internal. I don't recall outsourcing anything that way.
But if we also looked, there might have been some special thing that came up, just some random, oh, this is out of the norm, a kind of thing that's over the years has come up, but probably not real common. But but if we also take a look at, if we go and start shopping vendors just so we can have a comparison, they might tell us, for example, oh yeah, we do tree removal too. And so then in that case, we might want to just take a browse through the Russell Tree service, right? That's, that could come up. Or we have a service that does what Aqueduct does. So then we might want to, oh, okay, well, let's just.
And that's why they're broken out.
What's that?
And that's why they're broken out separately.
Yeah, no, so that's all good. So.
All right, I guess that makes sense.
Just, FYI on that one. So we know we got to get going on that. Otherwise, the decision will once again be made for us, and we'll be left scrambling and hoping we've got enough money in there for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we definitely know we'll be picking up the mowing next year, right? For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Unless we either hire someone else or we pick it up ourselves. I guess that was the main impetus with this. But people think maintenance and they think different things. Like I know Councilman Benedetti always thinks about, when he hears the word maintenance, he thinks about fixing toilets and, building maintenance more so than mowing. And that may be, correct way to look at it or not, I'm not sure. But I guess we'll plow through that.
As long as we have somebody that if we walk in at 8 o'clock in the morning and the toilet's overflowing, we have somebody we can call. We'll be good here in the building.
Well, if my toilet starts overflowing, I don't wait to call somebody. just do something. It'll be too late. Okay. So, let's see, what else do we have? So you talked about the budget as something coming up and that'll be the main focus. Do you think that the auditor, sounds like that went all right?
Did everybody should have got a copy of it from them?
Yes.
And the difference, I don't know if you looked at a past audit report of ours, but you can kind of see the difference in a regular audit report. You would see our actual financial statements and you would see all the notes to those financial statements related to it.
Yep.
This report they're putting out doesn't have all that with it. That's still available if you know where to go on the auditor's website to get it. But as far as an audit report, it doesn't have that information in it because they're not saying, I looked at these numbers. We're just saying, I looked at these transactions and they either did or did not meet what they were supposed to meet. And obviously all of ours did. So as far as an agreed upon procedures go, it was as clean as it could be. We had no comments on anything. We basically can keep doing what we've been doing and we'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, no, that's great. No comments is always a great thing. Yay. All right. Is there anything else that I really don't, I don't think I have anything else. How about Mark?
No, not really. Glad to know we have tax revenue coming in higher. Glad to know we have some money for roads and some of that stuff we've been thinking about in safety.
Yes. I want to say that when we talked about it last, the cost for that intersection project was going to be in the 175 range. So if that's still true, then there's probably about $50,000 available in that that's funded by the gas tax for those street signs and repairs and things that you might need to talk about during street or safety, excuse me.
Yeah, we'll just have to, we've got some things that I think as we just all need to come together because we have things that we've been kicking around for a year or two. We should, or get off the pot kind of thing. And so, we may want to push priorities a little bit based on things that haven't gotten done that we wish we had gotten done. So.
Well, I think one of the things to point out is, and this is not, some may take this wrong, but we've been kicking around that project on Maplewood for over 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better. I understand it's not worse, but maybe it is, maybe it's not. The money's there. It is an issue and it's a problem. Why aren't we doing it?
Yeah,
so
part of that, Tony, Tiffany, is the fact that I think it would have been more urgent if you guys hadn't done the fix on the sewer there. So, that would have been part of that project. So you gave us a Band-Aid.
Which sewer? That's not where the sewer was fixed. It was at the total opposite end.
I thought it was that was at this end. No?
No, total opposite end.
Okay.
So no, as far as the other part to that though is there are a lot of complaints about curb and gutter in that area as well. That project could go, you could endlessly spend that money. There is so much street, curb, gutter just in that Maplewood, Alta Vista area but it's just a matter of doing it. It boils back down to the same thing. I know with COVID, a lot of things have gotten pushed back, but it's something that it's sitting. I think part of it is we look at this and people just don't want to spend the money, but the money is sitting there. We have residents that are continually complaining because it's not being done. And I think the part that some of us forget is this is their money. They're asking for us to fix these projects. They're asking us to do these things. And at this point, we're neglecting some of these things by not spending the money. The money's been appropriated to do it.
It's absurd not to. You're exactly right. This is their money. Money is a tool. It's not a tool to be used and leveraged to help the people of this area, not to be, sat on and hoarded like, the dragon in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
We're on the same page.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Paul.
And I don't, I think some of my reluctance, like particularly the Minerva Lake Road thing, where I was saying like, I don't think it's that big a deal, is I'm just, different things I've been in the past and how money was allocated. It was sort of like, here's a lump sum and we can spend from. I don't think I was aware that money for that project's been allocated. It's sitting there just waiting to get spent. Now that I understand that better, yeah, I would definitely be like, let's call some asphalt people and get this done.
And then
Yeah.
just, I don't know if I'm getting off topic here, but it's all still related to finance. Mike and I are going backwards and working on the East Shore Court, trying to get that project back to spending that money. So that's how I'm going to turn this back to making sure we're in the finance meeting. But he's going to get me a new task order and all that kind of stuff so we can continue to move forward on the engineering on that East Shore Court project. Because again, we just transferred all of that money into that stormwater fund to move forward on these projects.
Right, and we haven't really had a chance to talk about it since then.
No. So, but this is also a project we've talked about since, well, it's been talked about since 2016.
And the reason that we were waiting was to find
Yes.
out what this answer was on Jasmine Market, because
Correct.
that's also a big deal
Correct.
and affects more people.
Yes.
And the Wildwood area as well.
Yes.
So there are so many projects out there for streets that I need a regular,
Refresher.
I need a regular refresher on
Which is
which comes first and all that, and where are we with each one, because we're either in engineering or with this or that. So yeah, no, let's definitely get, if we got off track because we were waiting for the funds, we got the funds now, so let's
Correct.
line them up. Let's line them up.
Well, and maybe tonight we can, now we're getting off topic, but maybe we can get a couple additional meetings set up for the next couple weeks. So there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah. Let's hope
I
we can do
mean,
that. All right.
So yeah,
Going forward on that funding, Mayor, can you, maybe if you're going to be talking to Mike, will you ask him what we should be doing to get our surcharge reallocated so that we have a regular source of funding for that fund?
just thought about it. Yes. It's definitely one of my top things.
For us, and he doesn't seem to think that'll be difficult to do. We just
It's definitely not difficult to do. Here's where the issue, here's the last conversation I had with him. The residential was not an issue. Like he was, I don't take this the wrong way. He was done. Like my understanding was the residential was ready to go. The only issue with that is the commercial, with the formula that he was using or needs to use for residential, totally throws the commercial out the window. Like their rates will go up drastically is my understanding. So he was trying to figure out a way to make it fair. I'm going to use that word for everybody, because I think the biggest thing that all of council, including myself, wanted to make sure is that when we do this, we didn't negatively affect all of us, all of the residents, including our commercial. We didn't want it to affect their water bills significantly. If it's $1 this way or $1 that way, I don't think anybody, we wanted to make sure that the funds got situated. But there is an issue with it with commercial. So I'll see where we are with that and see if I can follow up with that, and then I'll keep everybody in the loop. But yes, I'll make sure that I get that out. I'll do it today between meetings.
Thank you.
To clarify my previous statement, not to say spend recklessly on anything that, that anyone fancies. I mean, obviously be a good steward, but
Oh, yeah.
leverage our money as the tool it is to help the most people in the most ways possible. We don't need to hoard it like smog.
Right. I think, there's been a couple little posts, here and there, and trust me, Facebook is not the way of everything. But of course, It's a tool that we use. I mean, it's a tool that everybody does glance at here and there. And, some of the people there's been comments over the last 2 or 3 years that, they would like to see some of these projects get done. And when they see what the fund balances is for different things, they don't understand why, I'm going to call it hoarding money in a fund and just not doing it. So, and that's not necessarily a fair way to say it. But at the end of the day, if you have a lot of street, people's deteriorating curbs and gutters and all that kind of stuff, and we have, an abundance of money in that fund, let's get moving on repairing the streets. Let's get moving on repairing the curbs and gutters, because it is part of a project that we've talked about for literally years.
Also wanted to talk about, or not talk about, but the intention was, once we did that Maplewood intersection, to do another reevaluation of the streets. There hasn't been an evaluation done since 2016.
Yes.
So we didn't think it was prudent to do it before we did that, because we're gonna find out that it's still failing because it didn't somehow heal itself. So
Right.
we want to be able to do that, because we don't know, everything was in really good shape except for there and Valley Road. But we don't know what's happened since 2016. If something underneath there is starting to fail, we need
Right.
to know that.
And you're right. It's been almost 5 years since we've done it. So 4.5.
I mean, I know some of that predates me, obviously, but
Yep.
Oh,
I don't see any reason. I mean, I don't know. I got into this because I want to, help our community, and if we got the tools to do it, we should. I guess that's all I got.
Finally, we've got the tools. So, all right, 5:17. What else? Any other finance questions, concerns?
don't get used to these short ones, because once we start the budget process, they'll be a little longer.
That's okay. It's really an important process.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to make sure that, by the way, regarding that, I want to make sure that the dog program where it chases the geese, we need that. So I want that, make sure that gets in the budget, because that's a timing thing. I didn't realize that the geese lose their feathers in July, and that's a good time to chase them around. So anyway, it is a timing thing, but I want to make sure what's that?
I think we should just get a dog for the village and just hang it
Well,
out.
these dogs are specially trained, so yeah.
Here's my random question for that, and I'm really going to ask this question, and I don't know that anybody has the answer, but here's what I want to know. When the dogs run them off from there, where do they go? Because right now, maybe not right now, but when I pulled in this last time to come into this meeting, I had at least 30 of them in my backyard. So
Yeah.
my question is, and I know Jan down the street and all of our properties down the street, we have them here. So I just would hate to spend $15,000 for them to leave here to come back here just to go back to the community building. And I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just warning you that I will take pictures of them less than a mile from the community building. And if they're just going to keep going back and forth.
You're gonna have to tag them. You're gonna have to tag them to know, but it seems like they're different populations to me. There's plenty of geese to go around. And
I know.
They don't need to go very far except cross the street,
Right. So that's my concern with getting rid of them. I'm a walker. Everybody knows that. So the paths are disgusting. So I hear everybody, but that is a concern that I have, is just that when they leave one, they're going to come here and then just go back. And
Yeah, that's something I'd worry about too. Is that
Well,
it's not a real
Yeah,
solution.
no,
how do we tag them?
I think the important thing is to get them out of your neighborhood, and if that means the dogs have to come by the lakes and have to go by up by Cleveland Avenue, I mean, I think we need to. The point is they're smart enough to. What I read in the article is they're smart enough to know when the guy drives around with his car and his dog, right? And so they get out. But he said that the geese are so smart that they know the routine. So if the guy comes at the same time every day, they clear out before he shows up. They know to do that. So it's really a art, or it's really a science to getting them to permanently move on. And so once you get them to not nest there anymore, that's half the battle. For a while we didn't have that many.
We do now.
So we had a bunch, and then I think the mayor must have used the dogs or something. But anyway, then we got rid of most of them, and then now they're back in force. And I think that's also because of the extra ponds we have. Thank you very much. And also along with that, though, would be the making the ponds less desirable by putting the plants around the edges and making it, less accommodating to the geese. By the way, mowing makes it more accommodating to the geese.
Maybe we just let it all grow next year and see how it works out for us. We save a lot of money. Might get a few complaints.
I think we probably
Tom.
get a few complaints. So we got some really lawn people around here. So, okay.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh gosh. All right, all my other stuff can wait till the next one. They're all finance related because you got to spend money on everything, but honestly, it's more of a everybody topic. And Leah, it's the conversation we had about the concrete today, so we'll talk about it in the next one. And actually, I do have one question. The payroll. Is there anybody on this committee that is not interested in sourcing out the payroll? Because I'm going to say this, and I'll say it in the next meeting as well. Or if you guys are in agreement to it. We want to get this started. Obviously, the sooner the better. We had talked to them about making sure that it was full go by, I believe it was October 11th, Leah, that was the date that the guy gave us. Number one, because it is time consuming to get everything in proper working order. And clearly, if we did 3 readings in 30 days, that's not going to happen October 11th. It's not possible. So is there, and you guys can think about it, but is there an appetite to waive the 3 readings, pass it as emergency, the typical usual thing that we hate doing, but this is something that it needs done. But if we want to get it done this year, the fourth quarter starts October 11th. The only way to get this rolling by the fourth quarter, which is what he recommended, is to get this done. And we can't do it with 3 readings in 30 days and do all of the profiles, because every single person is going to have a profile. Every single person is going to have all of their information from one system to the next.
Tiffany, you're going to repeat this whole thing and
not really. It's your guys' finance committee. So
no, but I mean,
payroll.
it's 7 o'clock, right? Work session. Are you going to be in there?
Are
Saying
you
the
guys
same
okay
thing?
with it?
Fine with it. I just finally read that email. I had looked at email for a week. I apologize for that.
You're good.
Last week was the first week back at school, and I just shut off council and focused on that. And yeah, I just replied to it. I'm fine with it.
Okay, perfect.
I won't be in that 7 o'clock meeting, but if I had my druthers, I'd rather waive the 3 readings and not pass it as an emergency. I think that people might have a better appetite for that, because that still gives people the right of recourse if the public's upset about it for whatever.
Okay.
You guys know where I stand on emergencies.
So if we don't do it that way, we wouldn't be able to start at October 11th.
If
That's
we
the
waive
concern.
readings, there's a meeting next Monday, right?
Because we would have time to do the profiles in a week.
We could pass it, but not, oh, well, yeah, but
I think that would be the concern.
that would be up to the vendor to decide if they wanted to work with you
Before then.
before. I mean, we passed it, but not as an emergency. We passed it, if we waived 3 readings and passed it, but not as an emergency.
The only other thing that we could do, and we'll talk about this one in the next one, Diane, the only other thing we could do is if anybody was willing to do a meeting within like 24 hours of tomorrow, not do it tomorrow, but Wednesday, and then that would give us till mid-September. That would give us 2.5 weeks. I just don't know that, I know Leah's getting ready to go on vacation, so she's going to be gone for a week. Becky's going to be gone for a week in September. I know, it's crazy. They're all going on vacation.
And just, and this, the one thing I did forget on my list was who was doing the 1094s and 1095s prior?
We don't have
1099s?
to do them because we're a small employer.
As what?
We're a small employer. We have to do the 1095s and 1099s.
Oh,
We're not subject to ACA.
okay. Doesn't sound right. Okay. All right. So that was one of the, if you don't have to worry about that splitting the year with that, I've done that, and that's absolutely, you just want to shoot yourself. So since you're not having to do that, I guess that takes away, that's very painful and time consuming. But okay, so all right.
So sleep on it for the next hour, and then we'll regroup at.
And can you really, I'm gonna call you out in front of Tiffany here. You're really okay with having that data be messed up between the first 3 quarters and the last quarter of the year?
They seem to think that, or not seem to think, they said they will be able to integrate it. It'll still be just one W-2 for everyone. They work with several clients that have UA already. And it's just a matter of giving our reports to them and then them creating basically everything we've done to date in their system. just a total, not an individual, but like a total person's year-to-date pay.
Right.
That's the point of why it takes so long.
Okay. All right. Is that it?
I
All
don't
right.
have-
I'm sorry, Kim, was there one more thing?
Yeah, I said I don't have anything else.
Okay. All right. Then we're closing out the meeting. Yes, David, Mark, good.
That sounds good. Well, we'll talk
Yeah,
about it.
Talk about it at 7. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.